Hi, Dance Masala students. Most of you know me, but just in case you don't, my name's Drea. I'm the founder and director of Dance Masala. There's a lot of changes happening in term five, and we're super excited about them. But I thought I'd make a bit of a video kind of sharing with you my personal story about why I think these changes are so great. So just to cover the changes, we are doing a new 8-week term. 2 weeks of that will be technique to make a strong foundation upon which to build the house. And then 6 weeks will be choreography. So why the change and what's my personal story? When I first started dancing, I was 19. I've attended community classes and I really loved it, so I sought to continue. At the time, there weren't that many classes that were available for the kind of absolute beginner that I was. So had really good musicality, I loved moving, I loved dance, but, I didn't have all of those things to really build, up my technique and my form. And at the time, I found the dance classes for beginners that were available to be really intimidating, not beginner level, and just really crazy and stressful. And I totally get it. This is not an indictment at any teacher in Brisbane. I totally support the scene. It's incredibly hard when you have people of different levels in your classes. Like, that's why open classes are a challenge. That's why, a beginner is really a wide range. It means different things depending on which school you're at. And it takes a lot of empathy, compassion, and strength to turn away a paying student, particularly when you live off your creativity and you need it to pay your bills. But anyway, you may or may not know that I actually then fell into owning my own dance school. There was a bit of a path in between, but this is, the important kind of information for this video. When I started Dance Masala, I realized that this is actually where I can build that space. I can build that space where everyone feels like a sense of belonging, everyone feels welcome no matter who you are. And, everyone feels empowered and emboldened to dance and really own their space. And they can be seen and belong. Like, those were my goals. But I also wanted to teach people not only to dance, but to dance well, to dance with joy, light, expressions, to move and affect those who view their dance, and to feel that joy, their own connection to their body, and that connection to others through dance that I felt. But there was actually a repeating incident, one that interfered with my growth and progress, that made me stop and question things, and that was actually my knees. So I have hyperextension. I'm hypermobile, I'm super flexible, I have weak ankles, and I'm a little knock-kneed. And sure, it looks cute, but basically I have loose ligaments. In this world, there are people who are loosies and there are people who are tighties, people with loose ligaments and people who have tight ones. And they have completely different needs when it comes to dance, stretching, exercise, anything, which is why I'm so crazy about, stretching the correct way in class, for those of you who've been in my class or who've had the pleasure of me covering one of Divya's classes. So my knee dislocation first happened when I was 16. It was as painful as anything. I was actually on crutches. Surgery was discussed. And, as the years went on, the dislocations happened again and again. Even though I did have some physio exercises, you just stop kind of doing them. And then the irony is that the dislocations become less painful as the more often you have them, and it becomes easier and easier to just pop them in and continue. So I continued. And then last year, as our team was preparing for Neha Kakkar's concert, which we were so excited for the opportunity, and also our own show at QPAC's Out of the Box, where we did 8 days in a row, 4 to 5 shows per day, in a late rehearsal. It was around 11 p.m. at night, I think. I landed wrong on my knee and experienced a dislocation. So in case you don't know what a dislocation is, it's when the kneecap pops out. And for me, that's when my entire leg goes backwards. A dislocation that was so bad that it had me screaming and falling to the ground and involuntarily crying, and it just traumatized my dancers. So I taught from a chair for a month and, had a team of 5 physios looking after me, and began to step back and question everything. Like, I started training, with particularly a team of physiotherapists for a targeted dance conditioning program, which really identified my weaknesses and the fact that because I have loose ligaments, it was referring certain movements to, for example, my quads and overloading like certain muscles, instead of evenly using the body. And this is where my new dance journey really began. So the only problem with lacking body awareness or any awareness at all is you don't know what you do not know. In psychology, there's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's the cognitive bias where one kind of like assesses their own individual abilities as higher than they actually are. At the start of this journey, I am 100% guilty of that. Like, there are plenty of dance classes out there where you can just dance. You can do choreography. You don't have to think about any of this stuff. You don't have to think about your body and what it's doing. A lot of us are really uncomfortable when we go into classes. I know this because I started when I was 19, looking in the mirror. Like, the mirror, ew, like uncomfy. It's terrifying. But the mantra I'm living by these days is just because something is hard doesn't mean it's not worth doing, And that's so true for this. Because it may surprise you that while my musicality has always been very strong, I lacked a lot of body awareness. To be clear, I have learnt from my gurus, my dance teacher, and many, many other peers and other people wherever I can get it. And I have infinite compassion and respect and gratitude for all of my teachers. Their lessons were invaluable, But also, dance and Indian dance is an unregulated industry. And it's our responsibility as dance educators to teach in a way that is safe, is considerate of the fact that you're a loosey or a tighty, and give certain suggestions to help build body awareness and strengthen certain areas. For me, the injury in July last year was a huge wake-up call for me. I spent a really long time like rumbling with what it really meant and feeling this overwhelming guilt for not getting my stuff together and putting this stuff in place sooner. I immediately actually started researching this and, sharing it with my team of teachers, my team of dancers, to empower us to learn from my experience and share it with others. Like, a lot of people think technique is this scary, unnecessary thing. It's for ballet schools, Why do we need it for Bollywood? Bollywood is street dance, it's pop, whatever. I just want to dance. But it's not true. Bollywood fusion takes techniques from the 8 forms of classical Indian dance. It takes techniques from Indian folk dances, from jazz, from ballet, from commercial dance, hip hop, dancehall these days. They love dancehall. We're obsessed with dancehall. Like, everything and more. To be passionate about dance is wonderful. It's sublime. It's something to be cherished. But before you run, you have to learn how to walk. And you don't walk out of your first Hindi class or your first English class speaking in Hindi or English without learning the alphabet of that language. So these are our commitments to you now, like as Dance Masala teachers. We're going to continue to make our classes a place you feel belonging. That is super important to us. Creating community is what we're all about. We're going to continue to create safe spaces for adult beginners, absolute beginners. And we are committed to teaching our students technique, proprioception, and body awareness, and targeted strength building. We're super excited to go on this journey with you all. It's incredibly vulnerable to make a message like this, and I'm very, very scared. And I really hope you're excited to come on this journey with us. Thank you and thanks for watching.